When we look at who Jesus is and the work that Jesus is now doing after the cross, after his death, burial, and resurrection, after his ascension, now that he has been ascended and he's at the right hand of the throne of the Father, we see that Jesus is continually at work. Jesus is still at work even to this very day, and he's at work for his children. As he is at work, we need to understand who he is. Jesus is the high priest. Now, Jesus is not the high priest like the earthly high priests that were here only for a limited time. As they were here only for a temporary time, they served their duties and then they died and they had to have another high priest come. Aaron, the very first high priest, he's not here. His sons aren't here. They're all dead. But Jesus is the eternal high priest that is there for us, and he is here that is providing for us eternal redemption. Now, the high priests would come into the presence of God, and as they would come into the presence of God, they would bring the sacrifice, they would bring the blood, they would pour that blood upon the mercy seat, and they did that on the Day of Atonement. They had to do that every year, one particular day out of the year, and they'd have to do it year after year after year, time after time after time. But friends, I want you to know that Jesus died for sin once and for all, never to die for sin again. So as we look at Hebrews chapter 9, again, when you look at the book of Hebrews, something you need to understand. What is the theme of the book of Hebrews? The theme of the book of Hebrews is simply this: Jesus is better. Jesus is better than everything. Jesus is better than all. Jesus is better than all of those Old Testament things. They were simply a shadow. They were simply a picture, a type of what Jesus truly is, and Jesus is the fulfillment of all of those things. Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 11 says this. It says, "But when Christ appeared as high priest," who is Jesus? Jesus is our high priest. He is our eternal high priest. But when Jesus Christ appeared as high priest of the good things to come, he entered through the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, to say that is to say, not of this creation. So it wasn't a temporary tabernacle. It wasn't a temporary place. It was a tabernacle built by God in the glories of heaven. And what did he do? And not through the blood of goats and calves, but through his own blood, he entered the holy place once and for all, having obtained eternal redemption. And so as Jesus Christ did that, Jesus entered in to the true tabernacle, the heavenly tabernacle, the one that is not built by hands, but Jesus as our high priest came in to offer that sacrifice of atonement, not by the blood of bulls and goats and things of this world that are imperfect and temporary, but through his own blood offered up that sacrifice to the Father, laid it down on the altar before the Father, poured it out on that altar as eternal redemption, never to be done again. It is perfect in every single way, shape, and form, and Jesus is our perfect high priest that gives to us eternal, not temporary, but eternal redemption to those who place their faith and their trust in him.